I want to start talking, though. I can start talking. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Mindminx Show. I'm your favorite Minx, and we are here at our new home at Bravery Studios. And I want to do a quick shout out to our official sponsor, Jason Fitness, located in Fairfield, New Jersey. I am a Jason Fitness athlete, so make sure you go check them out. All right, we got the homework all out of the way. I have a super exciting guest tonight, and I mean, you are a character and a half.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think so? You really think so?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, it's good to know. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
You're a fucking legend. I'm so glad to be here. You know, like I'm so glad to be in your presence. You know,
called me a legend.
You're a fucking legend. Come on, I'm so glad to be in the podcast legend in her home turf doing a podcast interview with you. So
you know, flattery will get you everywhere.
True. Very true. Very true.
So.
Yeah.
Good job. So everybody welcome Davidpotterig.
The big dick bandit of all of combat sports.
And another exciting part about today is that we are actually live streaming for the very first time. So I'm super excited about that.
No kidding.
Yeah, so we're going to be checking if anybody has any questions and comments.
Oh boy. Pretty scary, but okay, we'll do this. All right, let's just roll with it. We in this bitch like an unborn baby. Let's go. Okay.
So
gotta do my stretches.
You're the king of the one-liners so far.
You know, that's what I do, baby. I call my name. I change my name to Tampex. I pull some strings. I just come up with these one-liners. It's just what I do, baby. This is why I get paid the big bucks. You know.
Tell us what it is that you do that you get paid these big bucks.
Oh, so besides my day job, which keeps my dreams afloat, I actually am director of recruiting in Wall Street. So I actually recruit people in the financial space. But besides that, I travel around the fucking planet with UFC, and also I'm the greatest hype man on the planet. I can tell about a fighter and some like the second coming of Christ and hype him up. You know, hype them to the tits to make sure people are excited about.
Hype them to the tits.
Hype them to the tits, baby.
I'm just going to be repeating everything you say tonight.
So pretty much just hype them up, you know, like make sure that people are interested in them and essentially make people love combat sports and make the combat sports athletes, you know, make the folks watching at home and kind of spoon-feeding it for them. Like you can't talk in technical terms or anything like that. You got to talk to people like you're talking at a bar, which I'm talking to you like I'm talking at a bar right now. But like you got to really
official sponsor
of UFC, by the way. But yeah, you really got to talk to people like you're at a bar with them and say, oh, this is a fight you got to watch. This is a fighter you have to watch. Like this is super important. You can't miss this guy. But you know that's my main job, and I've loved combat sports since I escaped the womb. Since sitting on my mom's lap watching Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, poor kid from Emerson, New Jersey, watching the fight of the century like she did with her dad, like sitting on his lap. And you know that's my job. It's to essentially sell to the folks watching at home of why you should care about this fight, why you should care about these fighters, and you know essentially I'm the best in the business, baby. So that's just what I do. So
well, at least you don't ever need somebody to tell you that you're good. You already know you're good.
Hell yeah. And I'm not just like my own hype man. I'm everybody's hype man. So anybody in the combat sports space, anybody that is, you know, competing even at the lowest level to the highest level, I'm going to hype them up. Like I'm going to hype them up like the second coming of Christ. So that's my job, and I take my job very, very seriously.
So now I don't know if I believe you when you say that I'm legendary if your job is to hype people up.
That's what I do.
I understand that, but now I no longer believe.
No, but you're awesome, though. You're like one of the best podcasters in the game. And look at this setup. Look at this spread. Oh, my God. It makes me look like a pauper. Makes me look like a poor person. And I'm on Amazon Prime. We're ranked number 3 in the world on Amazon's top 100 sports fan news shows in the world. And I feel like a poor person. Like, look at this setup. Look at this spread. Bravery Studios?
Bravery Studios. Jesus. Bravery up.
These guys have a pretty professional setup, if I do say so myself, so...
Somebody in the comments already said we all need a hype man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I'll be that commenter's hype man too. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely, that's my job.
So how did all of this happen? Like you didn't just trip and fall into an announcer's seat. So.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how that happened.
Man, so like I said, I grew up in Emerson, New Jersey, which is a white suburb, a very, very rich white suburb. And I was a poor kid from Emerson, New Jersey. So that was a hat trick to be a poor kid in a rich town. But, you know.
Was that relative, though? If you were a poor kid in a rich town, would you be a rich kid in a poor town?
Well, that's a very good point. Wow. Touche, ma'am. Touche. Making me think already. I'll take a slug to that.
Hence the minx.
But nevertheless, so, my mom moving us 5 kids, I was the last one born, and essentially moving us to Emerson, New Jersey. Just left, or my biological father just leaving. Never met him. He's a piece of shit. Like, used to, kind of beat up on my mom, beat up on my sisters. Like, he was a fucking douchebag. So, glad I got out of this situation pretty much. My mom said, all right, this kid deserves a clean slate. So, moved to Emerson, New Jersey. We lived in a 2-family house on Ackerman. And I remember just this big space and not a lot of furniture in there. But I've always remembered, sitting on my mom's lap, watching ESPN Classics and watching Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. And my mom telling me, yeah, I used to do this with my dad. Like, I used to watch fights.
Really?
Yeah, my mom was a big Joe Frazier fan, which is, I was Muhammad Ali all the way. But, like, and then my first video game I ever played was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on Nintendo. Like, my sister, Patty, my oldest sister, her boyfriend at the time gave us a Nintendo and gave us Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So that was the first game I ever played. And, like, her friends would come over and be like, dude, this kid's reflexes are fucking out of this world. Like, I loved Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So I became a Mike Tyson fan. Okay. Of course, we all saw what happened with Buster Douglas and everything and him going to jail. So, I grew up in a fight-loving home. Okay. And I remember even having the cracked cable to watch UFC 1. And, like, I was watching WWE. Like, I used to watch it with my stepdad. My stepdad came in my life when I was, like, maybe 3 or 4. Bad motherfucker. Like, God rest his soul. Bad motherfucker. Like, he was a Navy vet.
Nice.
He was a firefighter in the Navy. And, essentially, like, he got me into WWF. Like, I remember going in his camper and we were watching a VHS tape of Jake the Snake Roberts feeding the snake on fucking Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm like, is this legal? Like, and I was like, as a kid, I'm like, this can't be legal. Like, and I fell in love with all aspects of combat sports, whether it was pro wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts at such a young age, where I was just like, man, this is all I want to do with my entire life. And
wow.
Yeah, and by the time I hit high school, like I once again that thing where, being a poor kid in a rich town, I wrestled, I played football for a cup of coffee, I did track for a little bit, that was just an excuse to drink with my buddies on the off season, but like, and then pretty much said, all right, I'm done with this. I'm ready to explore the world. And, I dropped out of high school. I got my GED. I went to, I did my online courses of adult daycare at Bergen Community College. And then I went to Boston, Massachusetts. And at Boston, Massachusetts, I started training with WA Crew, which is a really good gym with Crew John. And yeah, I really started to get myself out there and start.
So you started actually training when you were already like
18.
Wow. So this wasn't.
Yeah, but I wrestled since I escaped the womb. So like I was
okay.
like 6 or 7 and I was putting on wrestling shoes.
Okay.
So like, and Emerson, if you ever saw the movie Friday Night Lights, if you ever saw that movie,
Yeah.
it was exactly like Friday Night Lights, where everyone took wrestling so seriously.
Okay.
And with me, I took mixed martial arts so seriously. So when I got to high school, that was the rebellious phase, like, and everyone was putting wrestling on a pedestal. My first instinct was to rebel, because I was rebelling against everything at this point. I was kind of an asshole in high school, like one of those typical
I'm an
jocks.
asshole now.
But like, nevertheless, I'm like, everyone puts wrestling on this pedestal, but like I'm putting mixed martial arts and where I want to go on this pedestal. And it was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna ride out this wave until I get to a point where I can't take it anymore. And by the end of the 11th grade, right at the cusp, right at like the end, like I literally just said, fuck it. I'm out of here. Like, and got my degree early, and I decided to pursue my passions and everything like that. So
do you think that what you went through in your childhood kind of like forced you to want to grow up quicker?
Maybe because I was also I was an angry kid, especially not having my biological father there. My dad around the time of like 9/11 and everything like that, because he was a firefighter. He was the chief of fire department for New Milford. He was starting to have health problems, and I was just, me at my teen angst was at my very worst. Like, I didn't even like myself. So like, I didn't want to be around anybody because, I didn't want people to get close to me. I once again, I was an angry kid from Emerson, and, I had all these circumstances I never asked for, like a biological father abandoning me and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I really need to go somewhere where I can have a clean slate and get an ass whooping that I sorely needed. So Boston was the place, and I went to Walk Crew. Shout out to my coaches, Brandon, my sparring partner, Dave Maja, and all those guys. They gave me the ass whooping I sorely need in life, but they also taught me how to be a good person, you know, and they gave me adult role models.
Okay.
And, you know, the ass whoopings came with life lessons. And I'm like, I want to be people like that. And, you know, from Boston, that was where I got my second chance in life. And that's where I really like snapped out of it and said, man, you know, like I'm not just a poor kid from Emerson. I'm just, you know, I'm me, you know, and I can build something. I don't have to, you know, stay the course where I'm just going to be poor for the rest of my life. I can actually do something with my life spectacular. And, you know, that's where I found my balls in Boston.
You found your balls in
Found
Boston.
my balls in Boston.
I'm telling you, these one-liners are going to be fantastic for the shorts. All right. So when you were training in Boston, like, because obviously MMA, for everyone who doesn't know, stands for mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts, that's right.
So how do you know, especially when you get to somewhere like UFC, because you have competed in UFC?
No, I have not competed in UFC.
Okay.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Oh, my apologies.
No, it's okay.
That's okay. So, but how do you know, like, between all of the different mixed martial arts that are out there, which one do you focus on? Like, how do you know which one to focus on? Like, I'm just getting my toes dipping in this, you know, MMA.
Dipping those toes?
Yeah, water. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
are you whooping those asses?
I am. I have a pretty decent roundhouse.
How many knockouts have you had so far?
None.
Besides all of them.
Besides all of them. But it's interesting to see. I didn't realize how many different types of arts there are for mixed martial arts.
Yeah, and it always wrestling was my base. Since I was 6 or 7 years old, wrestling, everything was a smokescreen to set up a takedown. You know, that's back in the day where there weren't these hybrid gyms like UFC gyms and everything like that. So everything, and spoiler alerts to all my future opponents, especially in December, like wrestling was always my go-to. And grappling, wrestle fucking the shit out of all my opponents when on the ground. But like, you know, and especially getting to Boston, that's when I realized that we were going in the era of not just one style and having a dominant style and being okay and maybe proficient in a couple of things or competent in a couple of things, but you have to be good in everything, because now you have, the sport is ever evolving, where now you have a whole shit ton of people going to these gyms and they're learning everything that encompasses a mixed martial artist. Like, I'm taking one more fight and that's it, because I won't survive with these new age kids, because my little shit of everything is a smokescreen set up a takedown, you know, that's gonna get me fucking choked or killed. So like, you know, and you know, I think focusing on everything and being good at everything is how you're going to be the best mixed martial arts. Think of it like you have this piece of paper. Here's your base, okay? You might have started with jiu-jitsu, judo, Muay Thai, wrestling, kickboxing. Here's your piece of paper, but it has all these holes in it. Do you have to get another style in order to cover up those holes? So you get another piece of paper, but that piece of paper has holes in it as well. So you got to get another paper. You have to be good at everything to cover up the holes.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so these athletes coming up and these mixed martial arts are not like when you know, I first fought in 2006 and smoker fights and everything like that. It's not like what it was back in the day where, you know, you can get away with being good at one style and being okay at like a couple of other styles. You have to be good at everything. You have to be an all-encompassing mixed martial arts to survive.
How much training does that actually involve?
A shit ton of training.
Yeah, because I train 2 to 3 times a week just for kickboxing, and I, you know, have a regular life on top of it, plus, you know, our podcast. But how the hell does somebody find the time for all of that training? We're not talking about like an hour a day. Yeah,
exactly. And when you're a legend of your stature, especially when you're being a legend 23 hours out of the day like you know, you might spend, you know, maybe an hour training, you know. I'm just blowing smoke up your ass. I apologize. But, you know, you just got to find training where you can, like do morning classes before work. Right. And I used to do 3-a-days in Boston. When I was training for my last fight I won in California, and when I won by knockout, I was training twice a day. So I was training in the mornings at 5 a.m., doing my typical Boston schedule, and then doing it after work. And I was dying too, because I'm old and useless like Madonna's right titty. So
you're
like,
so stupid.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm 37 years old, so I'm getting up there on age. So like, but you know, you gotta find time anywhere you can, and that's therein lies the challenge. And you gotta figure this also, when, especially if you're taking a fight, you're also draining your body of all these nutrients and everything like that. So you're you're cutting weight, you're getting down to your weight class, and mentally you're in a fuck because
Right.
you know it's not only draining on your body, but when you're cutting weight and you're like getting rid of the foods that you like and the foods that stimulate your mind, it's also screwing up your head too. So like
Right.
these fighters are going through so much nowadays, and even with the advancements in weight cuts and nutrition and everything like that, they're still going through the same process as I went through, which is essentially like doing like training the maximum but eating the bare minimum and getting the bare minimum nutrition.
Yep.
So it's a challenge all the way.
challenge, yeah.
The reward is the fight.
Right.
Going to the fight, I've never been happier. I was happier than a fourth grader discovering his first boner. Like going to the fight. That was my vacation. That was my reward for going through hell. And there was plenty of times I went to the hospital just from cutting weight.
Sure.
The reward was the fight and getting to see my opponent. Like everything else was the hell that you could expect.
So there was a lot of discipline involved. In
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Did you go into it knowing that was the outcome you wanted? That you
yeah.
wanted to be in that ring?
Oh yeah, and I figured if I was going to, because my end game was always going into media and being a hype man. That was always my end game goal. Like, and all my mentors fought, and they might have been the best in the world, but they also went broke. So my goal was always to get into commentating or announcing or
Okay.
media journalism, all that fun stuff. So I was learning that every single step of the way. And Stephen Quadros, the fight professor, I was studying him as far as commentators are concerned. Bas Rutten, who's one of my mentors, who I met so many different times and gave me such good advice. Mike Goldberg, who gave me good advice. The advice I taught you, talk like you're talking to people at the bar.
Yeah.
But like my end game goal was always to get outside of the ring, go in the ring, get that respect,
And that
and
experience,
gauge
yeah.
that first level experience. Because who are you going to believe about the Navy SEALs? Are you going to believe a Navy SEAL writing about Navy SEAls? Or are you going to believe somebody that, never went through the process
Yeah,
but is
100%.
commenting on Navy SEAls? And I'm not making a comparison. Nothing compares to the Navy SEAls. God bless our troops. But like,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted real world experience in order to know what I'm talking about. And plus to respect the fighter's journey even that much more, because a lot of these media people are, touch and go, to say the least.
Yeah.
Expert swimmers sometimes that never took a dip in the pool, and I never wanted to be that. So I wanted to be the best at my craft,
Okay.
wherever
appreciate
I
that.
took it. So I
Yeah.
want to be the best. So that's fighting was great, winning was great, losing was also okay because you either win or you learn. But that was just to get real world experience to when I want to get to my end game goal of being in media and all that stuff.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's a really great way of putting it, because you're right. You're not believable if you haven't actually done it.
Exactly.
I hate when somebody tries to tell me about losing weight, but they've never had
Exactly.
to. Yeah.
Exactly. Crazy.
So I want to go back to the discipline part of it, because, again, that is such a big commitment that you're making, and there's a discipline that most people can't commit to ever.
Yeah.
So you showed me an article that you're allowing, us to talk about
Oh, shit.
here.
Here we go.
So I'm just wondering how the hell, with all the discipline that you have,
No.
that you didn't fucking Google this person before you decided to date them.
But the Absolute Boys, who I cherish, like the Absolute Boys brought this up too, and like I didn't even know until my lawyer brought it up, because I was out of court with her because she obviously took a lot of money from me, and obviously we were in and out of court when I dumped her. The dumping of somebody crazy, it does not end there. It stretches out. So. And that's what my friends said. They're like, "How do you not know this stuff?"
How
But
do you not know?
I'm not running background checks on the ladies I'm shagging. You
All
know,
right,
like
no, but you all right, in the industry that we are in,
yes.
we have to. That is the number one thing that we have to do. And I'll tell everybody straight up, like, listen, yeah, I Googled you.
You Googled me?
I did not Google it.
Oh, see, there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
But this-
Contradiction. That's why I wore a hat that said "Be nice" and "Beat it, nerd." Contradiction. So I wanted to set you guys up, but like, come on.
But I'm saying that's all right. But we got to talk about what we're talking about. So
Okay, let's.
But it's not even just this. No, I'm sorry. This wasn't even just your ex-girlfriend.
Ex-fiance.
Ex-fiance. So you got to the point where you thought you needed to buy this person a ring and make that commitment for the rest of your life with this person. And she was a member of a fucking gang.
Right, and I preface this that I'm retarded, so I want to manage everybody's expectations. But nevertheless, you know, and especially when I got to a certain point where I was getting the success I wanted, and I was getting to a point I didn't know who to trust. And again, kid from like Emerson. Once again, I preface this that abandonment issues. Somebody, you know, that was abandoned by my biological father. I lost two fathers in one lifetime. You know, my dad died in 2015 from cancer. So once again, you know, I strayed towards. I'm like, okay, like who can I date? Who can I possibly trust? I'm like, I don't know who's my real friends in this industry. I don't know who my real friends are anywhere. Obviously, I'm going to go to my childhood. And I've known this lady since 2017, 2018. So like, no, not 2017, 18, but when we were 17 and 18.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Sorry, guys. I had my second model, so, you know, I'm making progress. We had to bring in some beer in order to talk about rough topics, you know, but nevertheless, yeah. I met her again in 2020. We went on a date during the height of pandemic, under the confines of the pandemic.
Oh, so it was a pandemic proposal.
Yeah, pretty much. No. But like we met again and we had our first date in Hoboken in 2020. And I'm like, wow, she's the same girl I remember. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And spoiler alert, it was a bad thing. But you know, I met her again and like we kind of you know, did the thing, and like we had a good relationship for the first 2 years. Everything was swimming, like fancy dates, bought her all this expensive shit, and like this comes with, trust me, this comes with a story. But you know, bought her all the expensive shit, like, you know, $13,000 like necklaces, Chanel. I didn't even know what Chanel. I thought it was a lampshade. I thought Chanel was, you know, I had no idea. And why weren't there price tags when I went to Chanel? Like, I went in there and they're like, oh, poor person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll just take this, please. Just ring it up and take my credit card. I hate my life. Like, you know, like, and the red bottom shoes, I thought that was just part of a song that Cardi B used to sing. I didn't know there were actual red bottom shoes. But nevertheless, first great 2-year run. We went down to Disney, proposed to her, mazel tov. And the very next day, because my boy was fighting, Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor, so we went down to the fights, and we had front row just to watch him and watch Jake Paul fighting against Tyron Woodley. And she was like, no, we're not going to go to the Jake Paul after party. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what did I just do? But there were like little signs, like she had a bad temper, like sometimes, and like she would, you know, she was just not
Wait,
a nice
where is she from?
She's from Fair Lawn, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. So nevertheless, she dropped little signs that she was gonna flip this crazy switch, but I didn't pick up on them because, you know, I take people at face value. You know, I'm all a bit about consistency, especially when I date someone. So I'm not gonna change my ways just because you're changing. So I'm just gonna stay the course and just be my consistent, adorable self. You know. So yeah, you know, and then the next 2 years got really bad. Where temper, controlling, just picking fights, yelling, just in front of friends, family, insulting me over like in front of family and stuff like that. And by the way, I preface this that I forgive her for everything. So like, trust me, I
That's only because she's a felon, and God forbid she's actually, you know, a murderer on top of it.
You know what? Once I dump someone, I forgive them. So like, you know, I was looking for an exit strategy my last year in that relationship, and my exit strategy was. So that December, it was December of 2022, I was trying to buy a house. So this is where it gets good. So I was trying to buy a house, and I got an interest rate about 5.9999, a whole bunch of nines. So during the screening, because I gave all my financials and everything like that, then they said, so who are these transactions to Olga Piskin? And I'm like, yeah, that's my fiance. What's going on, everybody? They're like, no, so how do you exactly know her? So they were asking more questions.
Wait,
I'm like,
you just said her name.
Sorry about that.
No,
but
that's okay.
I'm like, I got a better question. Why are you fucking asking about this when I'm trying to buy a house? So then I start hinting at her because everything, like, it was gaslighting. It was a lot of gaslighting. So it was just thrown back on me. Like when I would point out some shit, and I was more calm. I am calm naturally in life. Like I'm not going to yell at a woman. I'm not going to yell at my girl. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm going to drop little subtle, like, you know, subliminal, like, hey, you know what? These questions are being asked, and what's going on? Like, is there anything you need to tell me?
Yeah,
and
well, you know.
it was like, oh no, you might have fucked up on your taxes. I'm like, I'm half Jewish, so half of me thinks you're full of shit, and another half of me definitely agrees with that part of my body. So like, and by the time like that December also, they discovered a tumor right here.
Oh,
so
gosh.
I went to a routine dentist appointment, and they shine a bright light, and they're like, oh, like they shine that blue light just to make sure you don't have cancer. And they're like, oh, you have a little tumor in there. And I'm like, oh, well.
I never knew that.
Yeah, seriously. So they shine the blind light, the blue light, and they discovered that. And they're like, this is pretty life-threatening. It's going to go to your brain and everything. I'm like, so you want to pry me open, doctor? He's like, yes, I do. We should pry you open. I'm like, are you going to buy me wine and dinner first before you go inside me?
Yeah.
So the doctor, as I'm saying this, I'm like, are you going to buy me dinner and wine before you go inside me? And the doctor was like, not. I'm like, why the fuck would, like, he gave me a look of why would you make a joke that your life, I just told you the worst news ever. I'm like, all right, doc, never mind. I tough crowd. I'm like, okay, here's a check, pry me open. So they opened me, so I couldn't even talk. So I had trouble even talking. I had interviews and everything, and I wasn't getting a word back from my ex, and, she wasn't telling me anything, so it's pretty much like, okay, well, I didn't do anything wrong, Mr. IRS person, and I know I'm not a criminal. Check my background, please. So
yeah, Google him.
Yeah, schmoogle me. So I guess, IRS, go fuck yourself, which I said... Well, I actually did say go fuck yourself. So so they were auditing the fuck out of me the last year, and I was still... traveling with the UFC and everything like that, trying to make the dream alive.
So you weren't even home, so it wasn't even like, a constant, I'm seeing her. Gotcha,
right.
Okay.
And I've had money and I've lost money, so I'm like, ramen noodles for the next year. I'm like, fucking sold. I'm like, research me, find out that I've done nothing wrong, be my fucking guest. And naturally, they found nothing wrong and everything like that. But that's when I discovered, and I started to put two and two together. Like, she told me that, I got in some trouble, and like when she finally revealed her last name, she wouldn't tell me her last name. But when I found her last name, I found out she's like, I got in a little bit of trouble, but it's I just hooked up with with wrong people, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I take people, but I trust her because
pause.
What?
I didn't know her last name. How did you glaze over that? What do you mean you didn't know her last? You were engaged.
Do we remember this full disclosure that I said I was retarded? Do we remember that? I think I managed everybody's expectations when I.
Oh my gosh.
I said this, but nevertheless,
he's still glazing over it.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Continue.
I take people at face value, and she came from my past, and obviously I hold people in high regard that came from my past. So, yeah, I finally dumped her. She said, it was either UFC or me. I'm like, well, this is the easiest decision of my life. And I was already trying to escape her for a year. Anyway. So I was already on the road, and surprisingly enough, and all my boys, my absolute boys whom I cherish, they were all telling me to get out of it and cheat on her and everything. And I'm like, no. Like, I'm not gonna drop down in character just to,
right.
And
Good.
Really unhappy, and finally dumped her. She was screaming at me and everything. I'm like, all right, we're done. Like, we're done. But that wasn't the end of it, because then it was calls. It was guys text me, we're gonna fuck you up and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, here's my address. Come, I'll pay for your gas money. I'll pay for Ubers. Like, come. And they're like, well, we got two boys with me. I'm like, okay, well, it's me, myself, and I, so we're even. Come. And they're like, no, you're not even worth it, dog. Like,
now you're not. Worth it.
Now I'm not worth it. Okay, so anyway, go to court. Found out she stole a bunch of money from me, and I cannot talk about that legally because she still owes me a lot of money, which I'll never get back. Nope. Because back to where the bank was asking me all these weird questions, she got arrested for being a fugitive from the law. My lawyer called me two separate calls. One, he was like, she's selling all your jewelry to pay you back, and she's selling the necklace, and she's selling these things, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, as long as I get my money back, pay me $1 per month, I don't give a shit. As long as you stay far away from me, I'm all gravy, baby. Right. So but then he was like, ooh, and forgot to tell you, and this is the most important part. She's locked up, and she's gonna probably be away for a long time. She was a fugitive from the law, so. I was like, wow.
She was part of a gang.
She's part of a fucking gang. Thug life, baby.
did you not know this? That's like saying, I didn't know that my man was a drug dealer. Like, how did you not know?
Because I'm dumb. And you know what? I really take people's word. And if I'm not going to go digging, if you tell me somebody's like, if you tell me something and you say, yeah, this is the way it is, this is the story to explain it, I'm not going to call you a liar without proof. And especially someone I'm dating, I'm loyal to the end of it.
Okay, so that I agree, because I don't ask questions. If what you tell me is what you tell me, like I don't lie, so you're right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
If I don't lie, I'm going to assume that you don't lie either.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not the greatest quality in the world. But.
Yeah. And tell you the truth, and especially when I was facing the IRS and they were pretty much threatening, oh, we're going to take everything. I'm like, you're not going to intimidate me. Fuck you. I'll live on ramen noodles for 6 months. You have fun with my bank statements. Like, so I was willing to die on the sword for her. But like, you know, but when it got to a point where it was emotionally abusive and also when she was verbally abusive, that's when I'm like, you know, like, and especially when she was making me choose. Someone that loves you will never make you choose, gentlemen. So like, oh, either me or the UFC. I'm like, well, color me singled because, yeah.
No, good choice. I'm glad that's the end of that story.
Yeah, so I beat cancer, I beat the IRS, and I beat a crazy bitch all in fucking 1 year. So
there you go,
hat trick, baby. Fucking Kobe, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm walking tall. So by the way, and I want to tell everybody that I absolutely forgive her. I wish her the best of luck. You know, far away from me, but I do wish her the best. Her family the best. Her family, very sweet people. Like, I'm sure if she gets past all of her bullshit and can do some self-accountability, she'll be fine. So I forgive everybody, and, you know, I live a happy life, and I hope she ends up living a happy life, too.
What's your sign?
My sign? West Side?
Stupid.
What? You asked for my sign. I gave it to you.
No.
Aries.
Aries. Okay.
Yeah. Why do women always ask me my sign?
Because it's an important part of the conversation when you're thinking about your personality. So that's not it. What's your big three?
Big three?
Yeah.
Let's see. I love Street Fighter.
No.
I love Mortal Kombat. Oh, man, and Final Fantasy. Huge fan.
Wait, Marv hates when I ask this question. He doesn't believe in astrology at all.
Oh, fair.
He's shaking his head.
Oh, Marv is shaking his head?
Yeah.
What do you think about my big three? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Final Fantasy. You gave a good review, right?
I love it.
Perfect.
I love it.
See? That's my big three, baby.
So I'm going to take that you don't know. I'm just trying to figure out where your personality is, you know, coming from. Because that's quite... I understand the Aries with the fighting.
Yeah.
Get that 100%. But this whole believe in... That just sounds Libra-ish to me.
What do you mean?
Like the whole, you know, take everything for face value, listen to your word. You know, your word is your bond. Like, as a Libra, your word is your bond.
Because I used to be such an untrustworthy, not trusting anyone, piece of shit as a kid. Didn't trust anybody. I was untrustworthy myself. Poor kid from Emerson. But then I went to Boston and I grew as an individual and I grew as a person. So that's when I said, okay. And just to add context to it, this gym, because I went to Boston broke as a joke until I finally landed a job that I could pay my rent. My sister Patty, by the way, has always supported my dreams. My sister Patty, I am the closest with. I love her. I love all my sisters. Chrissy, Joni, Patty, the most amazing woman I've ever met. So I have a great structure and a great like blueprint that I never ever followed, obviously, in my dating, right? So like
clearly
bad fucking ladies. Until recently. But like nevertheless.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh goddamn.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
So nevertheless, so yeah, it's going to Boston and realizing this is how good people treat strangers and this is how good people treat their friends. They treat everybody just the same. And, you know, they said, okay, you know, as a poor kid from Emerson, coming to Boston, they're like, pay me what you can, pay me when you can. And they didn't even know me and they were so nice to me. And Crew John, by the way, an outstanding coach in Boston. And I found like even he was kindness to everybody. He was so kind. And I'll give you a perfect example of how his kindness was used against him. Where the Boston Bombers. Did you ever hear about the Boston Bombers? So the Boston Marathon bombing.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, those bombers trained at Wa Crew, the same gym I trained at.
Really?
And they were in similar circumstances where Crew John, just being a great person, let him in his doors and let him train at Wa Crew. And you know, he ended up, Crew John ended up paying for it because after that, the FBI started raiding him, started investigating him. Could have hurt him, could have hurt his family, but he never wavered. Even after that circumstance that happened in 2013, he's still the same good person and still the amazing person, especially going back to UFC in Boston when I went back there and partying with Brandon Douglas and partying with all the guys that used to whoop my ass as a kid. The ass whooping I sorely needed, you know, they're all the same people and they never waver, never change, no matter what circumstance was thrown at them. So I take that, you know, I never wavered and I wanted to be who I really was because all this personal shit and all the past stuff is just an excuse. Why am I going to be an asshole and make everybody pay for the fact that my biological father was a douchebag, the fact that my dad was sick and died? Why am I going to make everybody else pay for it? I want to be a good person like the people I met at Boston.
I love that.
So, you know, I want to be who I really was when I first started, you know, and that's what it all comes down to is, you know, who you really find out who you are and what you learned and everything just goes back to what you already had in the first place and what you already possessed in the first place. And now I'm like at my peak, you know, of myself and self-growth, but I'm getting 1% better every day. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better family member. I want to be a better friend. I want to be hopefully a better husband and better, you know, father when the time comes. And that's my goal. And you know, I'm not going to get there from judging everybody.
And being bitter. Bitterness is not a part of that equation.
I'm not going to be bitter. I'm too sarcastic and retarded to fucking be bitter, you know? So like,
okay, I concur with that.
You know what I mean, Jellybean? You know what I'm saying, Ronald Reagan? You're drinking my sake, Kimosabi.
Oh my God, the one-liners.
Fair enough, ma'am.
All right, so let's talk about this because...
yes.
Somebody's been posting...
Oh, who's been posting?
Some Jane Does.
What's Jane Does?
I don't know. You're the one who's posting Jane Doe.
Jane Does, what do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean?
About my Hidden Woman Crush Wednesday?
A couple of times.
That's a very good question.
4th of July.
Very good question.
I've never been so interested in seeing.
Well, what's your favorite like breakfast cereal? You know, like what do you think? Like what's your favorite dinner? Like
why?
Because I'm changing the subject.
The Lucky Charms, but no, you were not. You know, I think that's super smart. I think it's sweet.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see who she is.
Yeah, and you know what? She comes back from that same childhood. So she's known me since I was a kid, but we passed by each other. Like, we were at the same library, like, kind of like, there was a summer reading, and she was obviously an older kid, and I was younger. Legend, by the way.
Well, nobody knew that.
But, yeah,
now we do.
At Emerson, still that poor kid from Emerson, met this great gal on the other side of the tracks, and you know, I didn't really know her, but we knew of each other because, you know, our families, like kids in different grades and everything like that. One of her siblings in my grade as well.
Okay.
And yeah, like, I don't know. We met at a crossroads in our life where I felt like I wouldn't date her if I didn't have my shit completely together. I'll say that much because she is top notch. She's a 10. I'm a 4 on a good day. So like, you know, so like, we met at the right time when we need to meet.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been great ever since. And I'm selfish when it comes to that because, you know, I hold what we have. It doesn't need to be public. I need to say what I feel. And sometimes I have to let it out because I don't like, you know, I don't want to talk about my personal life, especially working with the UFC and working in the public and everything. I don't want to put everything out there.
Sure.
And I don't want her put her business out there as well. But I'm being selfish with our time, our world. I don't want to share everything, you know. And she's amazing. She's incredible in every way. She's perfect. I'm far from fucking perfect, obviously, as we can tell from this conversation.
Yeah,
but
clearly.
I'm willing to make the effort to be perfect for her.
See, I love that because I am such a hopeless romantic that I believe that shit. Like, and I just recently read something that you will find somebody who appreciates.
Yeah.
So don't stop being who you are and how you love because someone will come and show you and prove to you that you were right for
And I'm coming just thinking about it.
Just
I mean,
dear Lord, I can't.
Exactly.
I can't with you.
I just can't believe it. But like, and she's incredible. We have a similar personality, similar.
Oh, good.
Like, you know, she's a prankster. I'm a prankster. We both have dad jokes.
See?
We both like the same music. Miseducation, Lauryn Hill. We bonded on that. And like, you know, it's just such a good dynamic. And she comes from that past, the past that I tried to, you know, stride away from, that I felt like was never good enough. She knew me from that past, and she still accepted me, knowing that I come from, like, you know, it was just, she came around in a point in my life where I needed her, and I came around at a point of life when she needed me, and we complement each other. We're just a good team. You know,
I don't know who, you know, before today, never met you before. I don't know who she is at all. And when I tell you, I feel so personally vested in the I think it's only 2 pictures that you've posted with her. That's it. And I am like I was like, I can't wait to see how this plays out. Almost like a little rom-com.
Oh yeah.
There's such cute pictures.
Boxer dropper. And you know what? If she dismisses me, if I really fucked up and dropped the ball, that's my loss. But it's mine to lose. So like, she's goddamn amazing. Like I want to jump out the couch like Tom Cruise and fucking just spill my love for her. But at the same time, you know, I know, because I went through similar circumstances as her, where I escaped. You know, like. And our song, the Paul Simon song, 20 Ways to Leave Your Lover, she's going through the same circumstance where she has to slip out the back jack and don't be coy, Roy, just get yourself free. So, like, we're going through similar circumstances. I finished my circumstance of just being with the wrong person, and she's finishing up with that. And, we're going to meet right there, but we're a team, you know, and that's what it comes down to.
I think that's so sweet.
Yeah, very sweet. So sweet.
I do. I wish you had brought her. I was hoping you were going.
Yeah, I wish so too. But you know,
I'd rather meet her than you. Like, I don't know.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
What you just say?
I can't help it. Like I'm very.
Well, fuck me in the beard.
Why? Okay.
Come on, Minx. Minx, what the hell?
Sorry.
We're pals.
We are pals.
We just bonded. I shared personal shit with you.
You did.
I never talked about cancer. Never talked about the IRS. Never talked about my crazy ex. And somehow you got that all out of me. And now you want to meet her?
Yes.
What?
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Not sorry.
Unbelievable.
That's okay.
You're still awesome.
I know I am.
I still love you.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Since we're on topic of talking about things.
Yes.
You hinted a little bit about it in the very beginning of the show. When was the last time you fought?
2021. So I won by knockout in California, San Diego. And I'm going to get back in the ring. So.
In December.
Yeah. So
that was exciting. That was an exciting video to watch.
Yeah. So my opponent is he's a great guy, great fighter. He's a kickboxing champion. Won a title in Madison Square Garden. I'm a champion. I won the Pancrase title in California. It's the common grappler versus striker. How does it go? And we're both up there in age, so this is probably our last go around for both of us.
Okay.
And he's been killing people and buzzsawing through. I won my last fight, so why not? And we're both. He was like, I don't have a fight, and I want to fight one more time. I'm like, I don't have a fight. He's like, you want to kick the shit out of her, dog? You want to kick the shit out of each other? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to kick the shit out of each other.
Are these conversations that you actually have?
These are conversations we actually had. He's like, puto, I can't wait to fight you. I can't wait to fight you, my man. And I'm like, I have no idea what puto is. Does it mean like great friend? Amazing human being?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
BFF.
Big dick bandit? Like what does it mean, sir? But like a legend, a goat? But like, you know, like we had that conversation, and I said, you know, this is the time, baby. Let's fight in December. Let's spread some blood and have some good times.
Well, aren't you a little scared? All right, I have a question. Like the one thing, and I haven't sparred yet. Right now, it's just, you know, with coach that I'm hitting and kicking. I'm afraid to have my face hit. Like one time, when I was doing the mitts, I got kicked in the face, and I got, you know, like a black eye right here.
It's just like a blind chick in a porno. You never see it coming, you know?
You're such an...
You know, you never see it coming. Continue, ma'am.
So how is it that how was that first hit? Like, were you prepared? Like, I obviously you sparred. It wasn't like you just got onto the ring for the first time. But how is that, you know, like your face looks nice. Like,
I know it does.
Is Jane gonna
Can we get a zoom on this face?
I don't know if we can.
Look at how handsome. Look at this fucking legend over here. Yeah, but first time getting hit, I mean, I've never been knocked out. I've been rattled and rocked. But there were drills I used to do where I would spin around. We would spin around, and then fight! And you gotta fight dizzy. So that's to simulate being like wobbled or being like kind of on your last legs. My instincts is to grapple, wrestle fuck. I'm gonna be on you like a koala. I'm gonna be on you like a spider monkey. Like, So that was always my go-to, where
Okay.
if I'm rocked, if I'm rattled, I'm gonna go right for clinching. I'm gonna find a way to stick on you like glue until I recover. And actually, my last fight too in 2021,
okay.
yeah, I thought I had him on the ropes. I thought he was knocked out. He hit me, and then I just saw a flying knee coming. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, okay, I'm gonna block this. And then I spun him around, and finally I got back in the fight and got my wits about me. But I'd never been knocked out or anything. But getting hit, it's kind of like you can either have the oh shit light, and you can fear it and put the pussy on the pedestal. Like, you remember 4-Year-Old Virgin, like putting the pussy on the pedestal? You can either put it on the pedestal, or you can accept your fate and accept the fact that you are going to get hit. If you're in a contact sport, if you're in football, it's obviously you're going to touch the ball. You're going to have contact with someone. If you accept your fate, it's going to take the pain away a lot more than when you get hit and you're like, it's shell shocking, So that's what it comes down to. If you accept your fate, when you go into the ring and say, I know I'm going to get hit, I'm going to prevent it as much as humanly possible. I know it's going to happen though, but I am going to be cool and prepared for it, and just learn that and make that as a learning experience. You're going to be good. So when I got hit, it was like, okay, smooth sailing. I got to go to the next,
Okay. So are you ready to get hit again?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was actually cooking with my girl, and I was like cutting up stuff for her, and I was cutting up potatoes. I'm like, ow, my thumb. And she was like, oh, what's wrong? And like, I took off the little baby potato. I'm like, look at my thumb.
You're so stupid.
I got hit so hard. And I'm like, you know what? Now I'm ready to fight. I'm like, now I'm ready to get hit again. You know what I'm saying? She slaps me for all types of stupid shit, so.
All right.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah. I like her too.
All right, so that's happening in December. Where are you fighting?
In Amazon, Queens, New York. Are you gonna go?
Where's my invitation?
Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get you free tickets.
There
We
you
in
go.
this bitch like an unborn baby.
There you go.
Come on.
There
Dropping
you go.
more pennies than a seasonal worker at Victoria's Secret. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the best fight ever. I'm gonna steal the show. It's undoubtable. I'm gonna steal the show.
Well, so here's a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stealing the Show.
Yes.
How do you turn it on or off, the announcer versus fighter?
It coincides with each other because
Yeah.
I fight for the love of the game, and I announce and I commentate and I hype up fighters for the love of the game. I love the game, and when me and Mr. Ramos, who is my opponent, when we did like the kind of like the face-off type like interview with each other, we're both complimentary. He's like, I'm trying not to get my ass beat by him, and I'm like, I'm not trying to get my ass beat by him, and I know all of his weapons, I know exactly what he brings to the table, and we were saying, hey, we want a fucking war, we want to steal the show, we want to have the best fight ever, it's just my like. Like if you love something so much, you could talk about football and commentate about football and like still go in there and put on pads and everything. It's something inside you, if you're passionate about something,
Yeah,
and I'm
you
getting
love
hyped
it.
just talking about
Yeah.
it. I can be an announcer and I can be a fighter at the same time.
Okay.
And I wish sometimes I could be both in the same night.
Well, that's what I think I was going for. But so then, you being this passionate for this game, what do you hope is the outcome? Like, obviously, I know you want to win, but
Of course I want to win.
yeah.
I respect him so much that I want to put the best. If I beat him, that's showing him the ultimate respect because he chose me as an opponent. I chose him as an opponent for a reason.
Okay.
I feel that if I show up underprepared, which obviously drinking is going to be out of the equation in like a week or two, but like if I show up underprepared and if I don't challenge him, if I don't challenge someone I consider to be an acquaintance and a friend, if I don't challenge him, that's going to show him the ultimate disrespect. But if I go in there winning and wanting to win and winning and beating him, that will show him the ultimate respect of how much I respect him because I trained that hard to fight somebody that good and I was good enough to beat him. So, and he has a similar mind state. So I want to win. Of course I want to win. If I lose, I'm losing to the best guy ever. If I win, I feel like I'm showing my friend the ultimate respect by beating someone I respect and think so highly of.
Wow. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
That's so exciting. All right, so we have it on tape, on recording. We're getting free tickets to this.
Absolutely. Without
So,
question.
Okay, cool.
Without question. But you got to fight someone too. Like fight someone in the crowd that's booing me.
Okay, absolutely.
Cool.
I could do that.
Awesome.
I'll roundhouse them.
Let's fucking do it.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Well, low fives.
There we go.
Very cool. All right, so we're almost rounding out our hour.
We're done already?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It goes by very quickly.
Yeah, that's what she said.
She better not say that.
Well, usually my typical is 7 seconds, so obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh my God,
7,
I can't.
about 7 or 8, you know, she's probably watching. Maybe like 10 seconds. Well, that's overcompensating, just like my height.
Wow.
You know, I always say I'm 5'7". But,
Wait, so here's a good question. All right,
Yes.
so you're 5'7". Does that mean you're actually 5'7"? Or there's a thing that I say. I say that if a short guy under 5'9", they always say that they're 2 inches taller than what they actually are.
right.
So anyone who says that they're like 5'9" is actually 5'7". Whoever says they're like 5'8", they're actually 5'6". Do you think there's any truth to that? It's just from my experience.
Well, I say I'm 5'7", but really I'm an Oompa Loompa. I'm a little guy. I got this shirt from Baby Gap, actually. Kids are Russ. Beat it, nerd.
Let's talk about your merch.
My girl made this for me because this is my catchphrase, especially at work. Like, oh, get the especially someone coming in my office and say some stupid shit. Beat it, nerd. Like, even though I play video games and I am a
You
fucking
are a
nerd.
nerd.
Yeah, and I know Microsoft Excel. And I can name pivot tables, VLOOK, formulas,
XLOOKUP.
XLOOKUP. Like, I'm a giant nerd, but like I feel like it's talking to my people. Like when someone says, "Don't drop the N-word," I'm like, "What, nerd?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like, beat it, nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my word. You know that. But my girl made me this shirt. It's one of my catchphrases. And yeah, it's
And the merch is available. It is available.
NiniandCo.com.
You got merch. That's pretty cool.
Yep, I got merch.
So I
also have a Big Dick Bandit shirt that's coming out. So if you guys want to wear and be a Big Dick Bandit like me, it's made of 80% cotton and 150% husband material. Wear a Big Dick Bandit shirt on NiniandCo.com. You can order it.
NiniandCo.com.
Absolutely.
We'll put the link at the bottom.
Absolutely. Put a link at the bottom.
Absolutely. So I like to do something, and I haven't done this yet, so you'll be the first guest doing 2 things today.
Karate?
No. Live streaming. That's the first one.
Okay.
And we're going to play 7 Degrees of Mindminx.
Okay.
So,
what does that mean?
So have you ever heard of 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
No, I have not.
All right. So it's a game where you get to name somebody, a celebrity, live or dead.
Okay.
And I have to try to connect myself to them.
Okay.
And everybody gets to help. Marv gets to help me, and everybody in the check-in. And we got like quite a few people in there.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Somebody.
Well, I love all these people.
Somebody said that Aries makes sense, by the way.
That's
See,
my boy or girl?
it was a girl. So I'll allow you to pick a celebrity,
Okay.
alive or dead.
Cool.
And I have to connect to myself, but you get to help me too. Everybody got to help me because like my memory sucks.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
That sounds good. This is gonna be hard. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo DiCaprio. Okay. So let's name some movies. Marv. Obviously, he was in
Titanic.
Titanic. Okay. And what else was he in?
The Departed.
Who was in The Departed with him?
Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg.
Ooh, good one.
All right, give me another movie.
Wolf
Oh,
of
wait,
Wall Street.
no. I'm lying. Nope, I got it.
What?
Leo DiCaprio knows, you said
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, so then Matt Damon worked with Ben Affleck,
Correct.
who dated Jennifer Lopez, who was married to Mark Anthony, whose personal chef is, I forgot his name, but he's a good friend of mine, dear Lord. So that's how I connect myself to Leo DiCaprio.
Excellent. Well
Yeah.
done, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well done. Please.
So that is 7 Degrees of Mindminx.
Well done.
Fuck.
Well done. Well played.
Wait, I gotta find chef's name though, because that's
Fucking
horrible.
legend. We're one of the best podcasters on the fucking planet. You know
Cardona.
that, right?
What?
Is that a lot of pressure that you're like one of the best podcasters on the planet?
Is it a lot of well, I don't consider myself the best, so no, I'm humble. I'm not one of those people that, think highly of themselves. I think I'm talented, yes.
I think you're fucking radical.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. So Chef Ricardo Cardona. Yep. He is actually Mark Anthony's personal chef, and he's the head chef for the Yankees as well.
No shit. Well, the worst thing about being a Yankees fan is admitting that you like wearing dresses. You know?
What does that mean?
The worst thing about being a Yankees fan is admitting it that you take it up the ass. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
You're from Jersey. How dare you?
Because I lived in Boston, woman,
For how long?
for like 2.5 years.
Wow.
Oh, man, listen. Listen. I love.
Wait, stop calling me ma'am, first of all.
Okay, Minx. Okay. Listen, I love Boston teams. Boston Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, Celtics. Congratulations, Celtics. I love all Boston teams. Yeah.
You know you're from Jersey, though, right?
Yeah. Listen, lady. Okay? Doesn't matter I'm from Jersey. I love Boston teams, you know? Is it illegal to like Boston teams?
Yes.
When you live there? You think it's illegal?
It's 100% illegal.
Bullshit.
I'm pretty sure there's some subpoena somewhere that we could find that it's illegal. 100%. Just like we can't like Philadelphia.
Unfucking believable.
We can like the Cowboys, though. That one's okay.
That's a contradiction, woman! This is the worst!
All right, so where can if anybody wants to see you fight in December, where can anybody get that?
Well, you can go on watchecf.com, and I'm sure tickets are going to be available shortly. You can also hit me up on Instagram, Davidpotterig. 22,000 people follow me. I have no idea why. But, nevertheless, you can follow me on there. Hit me up. I will like you right back, especially if you watch the show. Just say that Minx sent you. Obviously, a friend of hers is a friend of mine. So,
Yay.
Yeah, and I appreciate being on this show and being able
fun.
to.
This was a fun conversation.
I've never talked personally or about my personal life, about biological fathers, IRS, crazy ladies I dated. Never talked about that, but this was actually therapeutic.
I hope you learned your lesson, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Background checks on everybody.
Everybody.
And especially this day and age, with Bumble and Tinder and POF, you need background checks.
I almost asked what POF is.
Plenty of fish. Plenty of fish.
All right. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you so much for giving me some of your time on a Friday evening.
Thank you for giving me your time. You're the real star here. Come on.
Aw. All right. So usually, because we, usually pre-record and we run the show on a Sunday, I would give my normal, it's a brand new week, so go own it. But we're just starting the weekend, so go have some fun and enjoy everything that you've accomplished this week. Mind your favorite Minx. Join us next time. We did it.